After a quick word from Prize Picks, we make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right gets you paid. Don't miss out on any of the excitement of this sports season, whether you're following the NFL, NBA, or both. There's no better time to jump in on the action. It's simple. All you do is pick more or less on at least 2 player stats, and if you get them right, you win. It takes less than 60 seconds to make your lineup, and you can play anywhere Prize Picks operates. Download the Prize Picks app today and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 in lineups after you play your first 5. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. And with that, we are thrilled to welcome in Hall of Fame writer Mary Kay Cabot to the show. How you doing today, Mary Kay? Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. How you guys doing?
Happy holidays.
We're good, Mary Kay. Happy holidays to you. Happy New Year as well. You just heard us talking about it there a little bit. Dustin thinks the Browns have broken Kevin Stefanski. I think we all kind of agree with him. And maybe both sides would be better off moving on. But you are not one of those. You think they're going to stay together, right? Or no?
I think they should. I'm not saying that they will. I think that Kevin deserves a chance to coach something other than a rookie quarterback learning this game. Maybe it's Shedeur next season. Maybe it'll be somebody else. It could be a rookie again next season, but I think it'll probably be Shedeur. But I just think Kevin deserves a better quarterback situation. That's all I'm saying. It could be a rookie, but he just deserves a chance to coach a situation where you have a chance. And this year, they weren't going to be winning with Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. And those guys have gone a combined, 3-9 or something like that. I think it's tough. I think it's tough to say, we're going to rebuild this team. We're going to turn it over to all these rookies. And at the same time, you have to go out and win football games with this crew. It would have been very, very difficult to do that. Now, having said that, I'm sure they're having discussions right now about whether or not Kevin is coming back. That's what you do when you're in the midst of a 4-victory season. So I'm sure they're having those talks right now, and I don't know if they've come up with a decision yet or if they have not, but we will know by either Sunday night or Monday.
I just think there's been too much losing, Mary Kay. I think eventually you got to move on, and I get what you're saying on some level, but I just think when you win 7 games in 2 years, there's got to be some punishment for that, and if we say, well, the talent's not good enough, then Andrew Berry should be fired. I just don't see how we could keep both with the team being so bad for 2 years.
Yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying, and if you just look at it in terms of wins and losses, that would be the conclusion everyone would draw. But when you look at what Jimmy Haslam said at the beginning of the season, or at the owners' meetings, where he basically said, we're not going to hold their feet to the fire because we're trying to figure out our quarterback situation, then I think it's tough then to turn around and just say, oh, well, too bad. You couldn't win with a 3rd-round pick and a 5th-round pick at quarterback. But that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. I mean, we've seen reports. We've seen the rumblings. We've seen a lot of different stuff, a lot of different things. We heard Kevin Stefanski say what he said yesterday, that he's privileged to have this job. That almost had some kind of a ring to it. So I don't know where it's going to go, but I do wish we could have seen what he could have been with a good quarterback situation for himself.
Mary Kay, you keep saying that Kevin, you want to see Kevin with a good quarterback. What do you think he's best served as? Because right now, he's given up play calling duty, and he's just like the overseer of the team. Is he better in that role, or is he better as the play caller as well?
Well, I think that's tough to say, too, because, once again, I don't think he ever really had a chance over a period of time to work with a quarterback that he necessarily was going to be able to win with and call plays for that quarterback. So, I don't think that if they do bring him back, I think they still will have Tommy calling the plays. But I do think also that Kevin is a good CEO coach, and this is that's a pretty good situation that you have with Jim Schwartz as defensive coordinator, and I think Tommy has shown some really good things as offensive coordinator. Once again, I think it can work. I think when you saw the heart and the fight and the desire they played with against the Pittsburgh Steelers, you know that these guys are still playing hard for him, and I think that says something. But having said all that, sometimes it is just time for a change. Sometimes it is time for a change of scenery, and maybe he does want that. I mean, we've seen Albert Breer report that maybe it's Kevin that needs something a little bit different in his life and in his career right now. we'll have to see where it's all going. But I mean, rest assured, I'm sure, talking about this over these next few days.
Interestingly enough, every time Kevin has, for the past couple of years, when Kevin has given up the play calling, last year, obviously, when Jameis became the starter, they gave it up to, who was the OC last year?
Ken Dorsey.
Ken Dorsey. Jameis went out and threw for 497 yards, and then this year he gave up the play calling, and Tommy Rees, Shedeur Sanders throws for 300 yards. Is there something there, like maybe he is better off like not being the play caller, because quarterbacks do have big games when he's not the play caller?
Well, when he was the play caller with Joe Flacco in 2023, he averaged 323 yards per game, and somehow he got to the playoffs with 5 different quarterbacks that year, and Joe was throwing it all over the yard. So I really don't think that's it. I don't think that's it at all. I think sometimes when you know that things are going south, it's better to just kind of get a handle on the whole operation and let somebody handle more of the details of things like play calling and whatnot. So I think if he had the right quarterback in the right situation, I think he can absolutely call plays, and he probably will get that chance and do it somewhere else. And we probably will see him have success doing it once he has the right situation, the right quarterback, the right supporting cast around the quarterback, and things like that. What I don't know is it sometimes it's just time. Sometimes it's just time for two entities to separate and move on and try something else. I don't know if it's that time right now, but it possibly could be. I don't know if he wants that. I don't know if they want that. I wish I had more insight into exactly what happened on Sunday or Monday, but I can't say with any conviction that I know exactly what's going to happen.
Let me ask you this question, Mary Kay. We heard a couple of weeks ago that Ian Rappaport came out and said that Andrew Berry would be, I forget the exact quote, but he would be involved in a lot of the things moving forward, and there was possibly some changes in the coaching staff. From where, from what you're hearing in your sources and from where your viewpoint is, where do you stand on Andrew Berry? Is it as cloudy for his future with the Browns as it is with Kevin Stefanski's? What do you think the standing is on Andrew Berry?
Yeah, I don't think it's as cloudy for Andrew Berry. I will actually be very, very surprised if Andrew Berry is not the general manager of the Cleveland Browns next week and for next season. And I think all you have to do is look at this rookie class to see that they have some really, really good things going on with this rookie class. And I think that, once again, I think he's put down the foundation for their next playoff caliber team, for their team that they hope can take them to the Super Bowl. I call it their Super Bowl window. I'm sure that's what you call it in the league. You are either in your window or you're really not in your window. They weren't in it this year. They might not be in it next year. But this is the foundation for that. I mean, look at that class. So I don't think he's going anywhere, and I think he has spent so much time looking at these quarterbacks and trying to figure out the quarterback situation for next year that I just don't see them parting ways with Andrew Berry right now.
I think that'll be a huge mistake. We've talked about this before, Mary Kay. We'll agree to disagree because I just think the bad far outweighs the good, even though I grant that he's had a good draft this year. He's still... we still don't, like, Mason Graham might just be a good player. If he's fifth, you got to be a superstar. And Dylan Gabriel was a horrible pick. So even within the good picks he made, there were mistakes. And almost everything he's done before this year has been terrible, in my opinion. But all right, you know better than I whether they're going to keep him. I hope this is a sign of things to come, his better draft, and not just got lucky one year. We'll see.
Well, I remember, at the NFL annual meeting, Jimmy Haslam basically said that Andrew had to nail this draft. He had to knock it out of the park. Yeah. And it almost was like a mandate that here's what you have to do if we're going to keep this thing moving forward. And I think that Andrew went out and answered the call. I think he understood the assignment, and he did exactly what Jimmy asked him to do. And not only that, he made a trade down from 2 to 5 and picked up an extra first-round pick for next year. And so this draft isn't even over yet. So if we just look in the context of what Jimmy said and how he said it, that he's got to go have a great draft, I think he did that. And I think he's going to get a chance to kind of see this through, this rookie class that has turned out to be quite amazing.
Do you think it'll work if these senior executives come in here to help, will it work? Like, can they?
I don't think those senior executives are coming in here. I
you
don't.
think so?
I wrote. No, I wrote 2 weeks ago that Tom Telesco was here in Cleveland. We saw him actually, and so I wrote it the Sunday after that. We saw him on like Friday, and on Sunday I wrote it and I explained in a Browns Insider. It didn't have a headline on it because it was like item number 3 or 4, but he was here. He was Andrew's boss at one point, and he was just here visiting and talking. And sometimes Andrew brings in guys like that. It was the same thing with Chris Greer. They just come in, they visit, they're around, they're in town, they're, or whatever. They just come in. He's really close with Chris Greer. They're very, very good friends. So this is not a bringing them in for other voices or hiring them. That's not what. Okay. That's not. This is all about. And I basically wrote that a couple of weeks ago.
Mary Kay, we talk about Shedeur Sanders. He has some really good moments. He has some rookie moments. We talked about a couple of the interception that he kind of threw. I was like, oh, that's a bad one. You can't have that one. We can't have that. But one thing I have seen is some of the throws downfield. Some of the stuff about just being able to move in a pocket. Tony Romo was very high on some of the plays that he had. What have you seen from Shedeur Sanders in terms of the growth and development, and what do you still want to see moving forward for him to get the opportunity in 2026 to be the starting quarterback?
Well, he's only got one more chance, so I don't think that the Bengals game is necessarily going to make or break him. But here's one of the reigning things I feel about Shedeur Sanders, and that is I think that he's going to have to know. He loves those explosives. He loves to throw the ball deep. And, Jameis Winston used to love to do that too. So he's got to find that balance between taking those explosive shots and not making poor decisions. That has to be, in my mind, the next step in his development. Because if he can do that, then he's got some really, really good things to build on. And, I think he's shown so much just in terms of knowing where to go with the ball. His elusiveness is so much better than I thought it was going to be. Slipping away from sacks and just in the nick of time, getting away from the pressure and the sacks. I think he's done a really, really good job of that, for now. Teams are going to dig in and try to figure out a way to take away some of his mobility. But for now, I think he has exceeded expectations in that regard. I love his accuracy when he's got time to throw. I think the throwing the interceptions has got to be the next step for him, because not only did he throw the one that was just but then we also saw that Nick Herbig dropped a pick six, which could have cost them the game. And then on the Harold Fannin pass, that was one where Kyle Duggar, if he had been really tracking the ball himself or paying attention to where the ball was going, he could have easily picked that one off as well. And for some reason, he kind of ran behind Harold Fannin and didn't jump that route and grab that ball. So they were lucky about that too. So that, in my mind, is the next thing that he's got to do.
Mary Kay, have a happy new year, and we will talk to you again soon. Thank you for joining us.
Appreciate it.
Sounds good. Take care, guys.
All right, Mary Kay Cabot, Cleveland.com.
I got an issue.
With what?
With her saying that, Kevin needs a veteran quarterback. It's time for him to move on or get a veteran quarterback or get a quarterback with more experience. Well, the only 2 jobs open is rookie quarterbacks.
Let's get to that next as part of the Shedeur conversation. First, Mike, give us a read.